Good morning. This is Jim Johnston from Pocatello. Welcome to the Candidate Café with Tracy Kasper, an eligible candidate for the 2022 NAR First Vice President. It is my pleasure to introduce your MC this morning from the great state of Texas, Brooke Hunt. Brooke, take it away.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is such an honor to be here in the Gem State, the home of the woman I hope to see as the 2022 First Vice President of our wonderful association, Tracy Kasper. First, I want to thank Jim Johnston, our voice of Idaho. Jim, I know you're watching this morning. Thank you so much, sir. I can't wait to see you when we all get back in person again. And I can't think of a better way to open up the Candidate Café. For those of you that don't know me, as Jim mentioned, my name is Brooke Hunt. I'm a proud Texas realtor. When Tracy asked me to chair her campaign, I was beyond honored. Now I know we would all rather be in D.C. right now, in a little banquet room, beautiful buffet, the smell of bacon, coffee filling the air, but we know that's just not possible now. So our team, who you will meet a little bit later, wanted to ensure that you had the best experience possible. Being the businesswoman that she is, Tracy made sure we had a robust campaign despite the restrictions that we were under. And she wanted to make sure that we had a breakfast we could all remember. So she budgeted and planned, and our team came up with the breakfast in a box, which you should have received. So this morning you can enjoy a little French press, some of the biscotti, if you have any left, and the famous Idaho huckleberry jam during today's Candidate Café. Little side note, our team member, Dave Legaz from New York, discovered that the huckleberries hold a place in archaic American English slang. So as Doc Holliday said in Tombstone, "I'll be your huckleberry." It was a way of saying that one is the right person for a given job. I would say that's very fitting for the candidate we are celebrating today. Tracy Kasper is that right person for this job. She is a boots-on-the-ground owner and broker. She really cares about our members. She's passionate about inclusion on all levels, and she's a strong voice for advocacy in our association. So, we have a great lineup of speakers for you this morning. And to kick it off, it is my extreme pleasure to introduce our first guest, Gino Blafari, the CEO of Home Services of America. Since 1988, Mr. Blafari has been at the helm of some of the largest real estate companies in the world. Names like NRT, Intero, HSF Affiliates, Real Living Real Estate, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and now Home Services of America, just to name a few. I would dare say he knows a good business leader when he sees one.
Thank you, Brooke, and hello to everyone who has joined us this morning for Candidate Café. My name is Gino Blafari, and I'm the CEO of Home Services of America. You know, it's my distinct honor to be with you and talk about Tracy Kasper, candidate for NAR First Vice President. You know, I've watched Tracy's campaign early on reach beyond the borders of her home state of Idaho to all of you. From the get-go, she has stood strong on her pillars of advocacy, inclusion, and members. I've known Tracy for several years now as we've aligned our companies not long ago. From the moment we met, it was her confidence, her sound understanding of the business, and her work ethic that impressed me and the rest of the Home Services team. But even more important, we partnered with Tracy because she aligns so well with the pillars of our parent company, Berkshire Hathaway. Those pillars are trust, integrity, stability, and longevity. We trust her to do the right thing. That includes having tough conversations and making difficult decisions honestly and compassionately. Knowing, on the other hand, and of every choice is a person who's counting on her. I agreed to be here today because it's critical that we continue to grow our industry and succeed despite the incredible challenges we and our clients are all facing. No matter where you call home in our great nation, we need a leader at the helm of the association who will not let today's problems define us, but rather work collaboratively to define solutions. Tracy Kasper is that leader. The Tracy Kasper we partnered with, the Tracy Kasper that I have the privilege of working with, has incredible discipline, is ready to tackle any issue, and is always looking to uplift others. When asked to get involved, she is there. She's committed, she's determined, and she's ready to roll up her sleeves to find solutions. I believe that one of the most important things we can do for the long-term success of NAR, you the directors and all of its members, is to safeguard what we have in place by always working to strengthen the current system while looking for advances to approach. We help Americans make what is often their largest purchase. We work hard to find a place where their children can safely lay their heads down at night. We ensure that the American dream of home ownership becomes a reality. Those are the values that encompass who Tracy is. That is evident in her approach from the start of this campaign: advocacy, inclusion, members. In 3 words, she has been able to define direction, and from what I know of Tracy, with her as your 2022 Vice President, I can guarantee she will follow through with her commitment. Tracy just doesn't talk, she acts. It's one of her greatest assets, and that is the kind of leader we need right now. Today, I ask that on May 14th, you cast your vote for the 2022 NAR First Vice President for Tracy Kasper.
Thank you so much for taking time to be with us today, Gino. Wow, what great words. Knowledge and experience, collaborative, finding outcome-driven solutions, celebrating others' wins, commitment. Tracy doesn't just talk, she acts. Sounds like the kind of leader we're looking for. Joining me now on the stage is David Hensley, the CEO for the Idaho Realtors. David, welcome. How are you?
Welcome, Brooke. Welcome to Idaho.
Thank you. Someone who you know exactly the type of leader that Gino was talking about in Tracy, firsthand.
Absolutely, Brooke. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brooke. Over the past year, we have seen leaders like Gino speak about the leadership, experience, and knowledge that Tracy has and will bring to the National Association of Realtors. The endorsement started long ago, and of course, they began with the great state of Idaho, her home state. Then all of Region 12, followed by Florida, the District of Columbia, Virginia, Kentucky, South Dakota, the Great Lakes Caucus, and many local associations. These leaders backed Tracy from the beginning, and they have continued to pour in, whether from a particular state, region, or personal endorsement.
So here are a few snippets from some of the many endorsements that we received over the past year. Let's see why these real estate experts want to see Tracy lead us into the future.
Phil from Texas said, "As long as I've known her, I've always noticed her being inclusive. She will take the time to make sure all of the members' voices are heard. She will educate, fight for our issues, and work tirelessly until she's reached our shared goals."
Gina Marie from New York. I was extremely impressed with Tracy's member-centric approach to governance, in addition to her outstanding resume. She represents the best of what a leader should offer to membership.
Chris from the District of Columbia. Tracy's commitment to excellence and community service are something all realtors should aspire to. And then Daniel from Florida. Tracy's ability to effectively lead and communicate is what we need for the National Association of Realtors. Tracy's willingness to hear and participate with members is outstanding.
From PJ in California, I believe in her vision of advocacy, inclusion, and members. She's very approachable and has a smile that will make you want to smile. Tracy is the right person to lead the National Association of Realtors. And Heather from Ohio. As a realtor, I feel confident that Tracy is the leader we need. She is intentional, knowledgeable, and has a fierce passion for advocating, inclusion, and serving all our members. Being a broker owner, Tracy is a leader that understands all aspects of real estate. Tracy leads with integrity and kindness. Chandra from Florida said Tracy has been having the tough discussions about the issues facing our industry, whether it be sustainability, realtor safety, or diversity and inclusion. I appreciate her willingness to take part in difficult discussions and her participation and willingness towards necessary change within our industry. And Judy from New York, smart, forward-thinking, relatable. These are the first three things that come to mind with Tracy Kasper. She has a disarming way of speaking, even about the prickliest of topics. Even though she has much to brag about in her list of accomplishments, remarkably absent when Tracy speaks is the word I. Rather, she is generous with her gratitude, bestowing accolades, and being one of us. That's what we need, one of us in NAR leadership. Tracy is who we are.
And Tom from Washington. I have known and worked with Tracy for over 10 years as an NAR director and a member of Region 12. She is always thoughtful and inclusive, and I believe she has what it takes to lead this organization into the coming years. We have so much coming at us at this time, but with Tracy's style of leadership, I know we can excel and accomplish so much. I am proud to call her my friend and will be proud to call her my president. And Kit from Virginia. Tracy is the right person for this association and for these times. She is one of the most inclusive people I know. She walks the walk in advocacy and understands our membership by being in the business of a broker, owner, and management, listing and selling every day, all while running one of the most successful brokerages in Idaho. Those are just a few, and we have so many more on our Tracy Kasper for NAR Facebook page or on tracykasperfornar.com, our website. I encourage you to check them out and to see why your fellow directors and members believe Tracy is the right person for the job.
David, thank you again for joining me on this stage this morning. Now let's hear directly from Jim Imhoff of Wisconsin. Jim is a champion for RPAC. And as a member of the large firm representative group, he sits on the board of directors. He is the CEO of First Weber, Wisconsin's largest real estate firm with more than 54 offices and 1,400 professionals.
I am honored to be here today to share a few thoughts about why I'm supporting Tracy Kasper for the position of First Vice President of the National Association of Realtors. Over the past 10 years, I've had the opportunity to work closely with Tracy in various leadership roles supporting NAR and its leadership team. I have found her to be prepared, diligent, dedicated, and creative in whatever capacity she is charged and focused. It's amazing the amount of energy she has and applies to every task. I ask, how does a person with her responsibilities, with her family, her firm, and her community have the time to volunteer in so many roles supporting realtors in Idaho and around the USA? She makes the time because she believes, and she does it efficiently and effectively. We need Tracy as our first Vice President and President of the National Association of Realtors. You can read her amazing resume. I do not need to read it now. It truly is amazing. Take my word, the word of someone with 50 years of experience as a realtor and almost as many in volunteer leadership at all levels, local, state, and national, supporting realtors and America's homeowners. We need Tracy at this time to lead us in our issues of private property rights, fair housing, and diversity in our industry and in our communities. Please join me in supporting Tracy. Thank you for allowing me to join you today and for hearing my message.
Well, thank you, Jim. Peer-to-peer pressure, not pressure, respect, is something to cherish, and we really appreciate your words this morning. Our effort started well over a year ago with planning and preparation for an incredibly successful launch on August the 3rd. This has been a team campaign, as Tracy believes it's critical to listen to all of the stakeholders and understand their needs. That's why she was thoughtful in picking the people to guide her and learn from them. Here are the 16 members who have helped move this process forward, and we wouldn't be here today without each and every one of them. They are being so committed to seeing Tracy succeed. This team and many more know and believe in Tracy. They understand what advocacy, inclusion, and members means to them. It is different for each one of us, and together we have had what we think is a very successful past year. So today I would like to thank each one of them for their commitment to Tracy and their commitment to each other. We spent a lot of time together in weekly early Zoom meetings, late night phone calls, text messages, Google calendars, social media. You name it, we've used it to communicate and to continuously be in touch with each other and with Tracy. It's a joy and an honor to support and represent someone like Tracy, and we all do so with full faith and confidence in her abilities to lead NAR into the future, and it will be a bright one. So I could go on for hours about each of these people, but we don't have that time. Next in our program is Margot Wheeler from the Evergreen State of Washington. Margot knows that leadership as a past president of the National Women's Council of Realtors. She's a retired Army sergeant, and she was the Realtor Party director.
Good morning. I am here to enthusiastically support Tracy Kasper for the 2022 NAR First Vice President. You know, when you're running any type of campaign, certainly it's really important for you to decide on the words that will represent you. And with Tracy, certainly she has shown that the words that represent her are the epitome of what she's always been about. Advocacy. Tracy understands that advocacy is so important to our industry and certainly for us as realtors. She understands that the impact and the influence we as realtors must retain as well as build on. So advocacy, she has walked the walk and talked the talk in that area. And then when you think about inclusion, I will say that I trust with Tracy that she will be continue to be an inclusive leader, certainly residential, commercial, no matter what your discipline, Black, white, full representation of our diverse membership will be what Tracy will focus on as she is making decisions as well as appointments. And then you think about members and you think about Tracy. And I will say that Tracy, thank you so much for all you do, certainly for our members and for keeping our members top of mind in your decision making. Tracy Kasper is one of those individuals who is a strategic thinker, a visionary thinker. And I have to say that when you look at Tracy and the fact that she is a broker owner, she works with brokers and agents on a regular basis. She understands our ups and our downs, our highs and our lows, our challenges and our successes. And so I ask you to be like me and support Tracy Kasper for 2022 NAR First Vice President. You know, we always say we want our clients to know, like, and trust us. To know Tracy is to like her, and some to love her. And also, I have to say that Tracy Kasper is someone who I can trust, not only with my business, with my family and my community, because she will make the decisions that will be favorable to us in our industry. I support Tracy Kasper.
Well, thank you so much, Margot. Your words are incredibly accurate. They're from your heart, and we are grateful for your support and for being here today. So, we have a little surprise for Tracy today. She didn't know that someone from her home state of Idaho, someone who knows a little bit about leadership and campaigns, wanted to say a few words. Ladies and gentlemen, the governor of Idaho, Brad Little.
Hello, Tracy. You weren't expecting to hear from me today, but I want to take a moment and tell you how proud we are of you in Idaho. I want to wish you the best of luck in the remaining days of your campaign. I know exactly what it feels like in the weeks leading up to Election Day. So I encourage you to take it all in, take a deep breath, but keep working. To the directors watching, as governor of the great state of Idaho, I come to you today to tell you with utmost confidence that Tracy Kasper will make an incredible 2022 First Vice President of the National Association of Realtors. Her experience and dedication to your industry and association and to her community is unmatched. Tracy is a leader who listens and asks for input from all stakeholders. She understands the issues you face. She knows which solutions work. We have all probably heard or seen her message of advocacy, inclusion, and members. Tracy knows how to navigate challenges. Tracy does not lead top-down, but leads collaboratively, seeking input from those who know the issue best. I am confident that if Tracy is elected to serve on your leadership team, the National Association of Realtors will only expand its already impressive reach. There will be positive impacts on many important issues facing the industry and communities across the country. Today, I ask you to support Tracy and vote for her on May 14th. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this morning's breakfast, and good luck, Tracy.
Governor Little, thank you. We know how busy you are right now. You have the legislature going on, but you're also leading through a pandemic. Thank you for that great surprise. I know right now Tracy has a big smile on her face. So we would be remiss if we didn't hear from our next guest, the person who does know her best, the person who has encouraged Tracy all along the way, the person who stood by her side, and the person who knows the commitment this important position will require. Mike Kasper was going to be with us live, but he's a morning talk radio host, and he's right in the middle of his show this morning. So what he did do was he sent us a message to share with you. And by the way, Mike's on the #1 rated station in the state. So let me bring on Mike Kasper.
Hi, my name is Mike Kasper, and I am the husband of Tracy Kasper, who is running for NAR First Vice President. And I support Tracy Kasper. Now, as her husband, you would probably think you should support Tracy Kasper, but I support Tracy for a lot of different reasons, probably than what you should be supporting her for, and I want to tell you some of those reasons to get an idea of who she is. I've known Tracy for over 20 years. We have raised 7 great kids successfully. She has successfully grown and operated 2 brokerages, and she is highly involved in her community. She is passionate, and she has so much energy when it comes to being a part of her community, servicing her clients, and also supporting the real estate industry. Tracy and I met over 20 years ago, and we actually met at a fundraiser. And that was just the beginning of her being involved in the community. Over the years, she has raised over hundreds of thousands of dollars for her community. Besides knowing Tracy professionally, many of you know her as a mother. And she had so much time to commit to her work, her business, her clients, and her family. She always found time to take part in school functions and sports, and still had time to take care of her clients and her businesses. Now that our kids are grown, she has changed that trajectory a little bit, and now is concentrating more on the NAR and her side of the business. For all these reasons, I, as her husband, of course, support Tracy Kasper, but that's why you should support Tracy Kasper as NAR First Vice President.
Thank you so much, Mike. Well, it's that time. The time I get to introduce our featured speaker and our candidate. But first, I have a few comments that I would like to make about my candidate, about your candidate. So Tracy, we've known each other for a while. I feel like we've squeezed 30 years of quality time into only 15 months. And we didn't even see each other during that entire time until yesterday. And boy, was that hug great and long overdue. This campaign manager has wanted to hug her candidate for a long time. So many people say they know you and they know your heart. That's because you let people in. You don't talk to people, you talk with people, and you listen. So I have a little insight as the campaign manager. As you've heard, we've spent a lot of time with Tracy. The team has spent a lot of time with Tracy and myself. We've been on Zoom calls, we've been on phone calls, we've been on everything. That team is the backbone of this campaign. Their hearts, their wisdom, they were not picked by happenstance. Tracy's first order of business when this campaign started was to pick the team. And team, she picked you guys with deliberation. She was discerning on her choices. She has worked collaboratively with all of us throughout the campaign. You guys brought together different strengths, different passions, different specialties, different ideas. Tracy surrounded herself with you to make her better. We've all watched her through the campaign as she's grown. She's grown as a leader. She's grown as a candidate. She has grown in her speaking. Believe it or not, I know y'all have heard her speak, but even her speaking skills have actually grown as she's gone through this. The conversations of 2020 and 2021 with you have been profoundly thoughtful and ever-changing, just like the world we live in today. Tracy has 3 pillars. You know them: advocacy, inclusion, and members. I will tell you, she has said from the very beginning, I want to speak to all members. I don't want to just speak to the directors. I want to speak to all members and the directors. You went to where they were. Whether you showed up at an installation, all of this is virtual. Let me remind everybody, this campaign has been 100% virtual from day one through the election. First time ever in the history of NAR. Hopefully it'll be the last time that this has to be done. But Tracy made the best of it. When she said she wanted to talk to the members, she went straight to them. Social media, she went to them, showing up at, invited to installations, invited to RPAC events that were virtually. Those were so much fun. And it's just a way to be able to reach out to the members. Your contact with the members mattered. It's that personal contact that really resonated with all of them. So, on the inclusion message, that message has grown, just like everything. AIM has not changed. The conversations around AIM have changed. They've evolved. Everything has evolved. The inclusion conversation started not only on diversity, but also on having all the stakeholders at the table. Our appraisers, our property managers, our commercial realtors. Real estate is not just about residential, and she understands that. Then we got into last year, and the discussions really changed. One of the things that came out of it was Fairhaven. As Gino said, Tracy doesn't just talk, she acts. She went from the very first meeting, actually, on August the 4th that she had with the state. I heard the question asked, Tracy, what will you do about inclusion? I didn't know how she would answer. And Tracy, I looked at you and I was just like, okay, I know you got this. And she said flat out, it starts with me. It starts with our brokers. It starts at home. She acted. When Fairhaven came out, She went to her agents and her office. She got 100% participation on completing the Fairhaven program by all 70 of her agents in her office. This is what she does. She's not just going to tell you what we should be doing. She's going to go do it herself. She leads by example in everything that she does. Advocacy, as y'all know, she was VP of Advocacy. Everything she's done, if you look at her resume, it is full of all kinds of RPAC and the member involvement. She's actually very, very strong. It's part of her DNA. So we know that is a big part of what she is, but that's not everything. She has spent years, like I said, in the RPAC arena. She's hit her third tier in Hall of Fame this year. She'll be recognized next May, but she will be in that third tier in the Hall of Fame. She's been a federal coordinator. She has advocacy starts at home. She knows that. This is why you heard from the governor. This is why she has the congressional endorsement from every member of Congress in Idaho. They all know her because they've all worked with her. So experience has been talked about a lot. It always is. You don't get to this role unless you've had experience. You also don't get to this point unless you've been properly vetted out through the process that NAR has and that we've had since 2007. Her resume, Tracy, I think I know your resume maybe better than you do right now. I studied everything you gave me. I laid it out. I put it in order. I divided it by specific areas. You were licensed in 97 and you immediately were elected as treasurer of your local board in 98. You've had 23 years of leadership and volunteer experience. You've got a long, healthy resume. In realtor associations, civic, you were big on the Chamber of Commerce. You were a chairman there, charity institutions, in your business, and you've served across multiple lines almost every year. So you are multifaceted. You are gifted in all that you do in leadership. You even chaired, this is my favorite part. You even chaired the Nampa and the Caldwell golf tournaments 14 times. Okay, anybody who's ever chaired a golf tournament once knows you get the badge, you get the t-shirt, and you're done with golf tournaments. She did this 14 times. Your experience matters, and it is lengthy. But it's very recent, and that's what matters the most. You served on the leadership team in 2019. Bob Goldberg had been on at NAR for just a couple of years. And you watched as the association kind of transformed and evolved during that time. You worked with some of the current leadership. When 2020 hit, there was no playbook. There was no roadmap. There was no leadership anywhere with experience on navigating, surviving, and thriving in a pandemic. We had new languages, pivot, essential, virtual showings, virtual open houses, and now vaccines. We have all charted these waters together. Your experience on the Broker Engagement Committee in 2020 and your day-to-day business of listing, selling, and managing put you at the top of the class on experience and where we're at today. Suddenly last year, what happened 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even 2 years ago, didn't really matter. Offices were closing. Whole cities were closing down. People were working remotely like never before. Association offices were doing the same. Many are still working remote. Travel everywhere was canceled. Agents couldn't show homes. Contracts and listing agreements all had to be done via Zoom. Agents couldn't even check their daily mail. Meetings and conferences were canceled. Our meetings with our legislators were canceled all over the country. And the world completely ran out of toilet paper. The experience from being in the trenches in 2020 now to me is top of mind when it comes to experiences that are necessary for right now. Before Tracy takes the stage, she wanted to start with what she is calling my why. The reason she got into our incredible industry and the reason she has taken active part for so many years on the local, state, and national level. Before I move to the video, Tracy, I love you. I respect you. And you're going to do a darn good job in leadership at NAR. Tracy has an incredible story of perseverance and determination from a young age that propelled Tracy with fortitude to become the businesswoman, leader, mother, and Grammy that she is today.
Good morning. I am so glad that you all are here, that you took the time to come and get to know a little bit more about me. And I know that a lot of you have heard this story already, but I really wanted to share with you, again, my why, and really to the core of who I am as a realtor, as a mom, as a broker, as an owner. Why do I do this every single day? And a lot of you have even asked me, why am I running for this position? And it does start with my family. We grew up in Wyoming, myself and 3 siblings with my mom and dad, and in the course of those first 9 years of my life, we moved about 18 times. And as you can imagine, in moving all of those times, we never attended the same school for a whole school year. So I missed those friends and as I bounced from one school to the other. As I'm turning 10 years old, my mom found herself to be a single mom with these 4 kids. She moved us to start a new life from Wyoming into Idaho. I came to move in with her sister at the time, and then I watched her as she struggled to find a rental, someone who would lease to a single mom with 4 kids in the late 70s. She did finally find that very kind gentleman who did, and here we are, and for the first time ever, I was so excited that I was going to be able to go to the same school for a whole year. I watched my mom work over the course of the next year or so, 2 jobs. She worked day and night. I helped her. I became kind of a partner of sorts with her. I was babysitting my siblings, doing everything that we could to save money so that she could buy a home. I watched her fill out an application late at night that I know now is the RD loan. I remember, as a 10-year-old, standing at the end of that driveway, just imagining what our life was going to be like moving forward. Not only were we going to be able to go to that same school with those same kids for a whole year, we were going to be able to finish school with those same kids. That sense of community, that sense of roots and establishing a family, that's what we get to do every day. And as I flash forward to being a realtor now, all of these years, it's that passion. It's walking those families, those individuals, those business owners across their thresholds. That's what drives every single thing that we do. Yes, we are in the people business, but really we are in the business of helping people. And at the core of it, we're the ones that get to stand on that sideline and watch those clients of ours as they walk across their thresholds, their homes or their businesses. And that's what we get to advocate for every single day. And that's what we get to do every single day. And that is my why. Good morning. Oh, excuse me. I think that me playing that video is evident why I wanted to share that with you. It really does show to the core of who I am and why I love what I get to do every single day. I think it also shows too that, and if it doesn't, I just want to tell you, I love my family, my extended family, my kids. My husband and I have raised those 7 kids, and now with those 6 grandchildren, and we have loved every minute of it. And because I love what I get to do every day, my clients even become like family. My agents in my office, with my staff, I love you guys so, so much. And I love watching the successes that you are all having. And that extends to everyone on this call. I love you, my realtor family. And I believe that our stories are very similar, that there is something deep inside each and every one of us that really spurs on our need to take care of, to help build up, and to include everyone around us. It is the core of who we are as realtors. I was so excited a year ago, and thank you to my team. They've all been introduced to you. You all know them, and they are extraordinary. I first also have to say thank you to the surprise guest, our governor of Idaho. Thank you, Governor Brad Little. I have to say thank you to Gino, to Jim, and to Margot for your very, very kind words. I stand here very humbly. I have to thank my CEO from the Idaho Realtors, David Hensley. You are amazing, and thank you for keeping me so grounded. And thank you to Brooke. I appreciate you so much. And for the first time in over a year, I did get to hug you finally. It has been a long time coming. And to my team, be prepared. When I get to see you, those hugs are coming. And I could not have done it without all of you. There is absolutely no way. So I stand here today to tell you that a year ago, when the pandemic was hitting, when we knew and could see that this campaign would be virtual, we all sat down together, and there was such a sense of what do we need to do to be able to help. And we did come up with what we felt like were pillars that embodied who we are as an association, who we are as members, and who we are as people who take care of the communities that we all live, work, and play in. And that is how we came up with AIM: advocacy, inclusion, and our members. And when we started that a year ago, and we look at everything that we've gone through in these past several months, those pillars are now even more important today than they were when we started. Brooke, thank you for all of the things that you shared already, because you are exactly right. We've had some tough conversations over the past several months. We've all had opportunities to really learn and to grow, and more importantly, to listen to each other. When we talk about these pillars and we look at them individually, I do want to start with advocacy. In January of this year, so many of you were sharing with me, what are we doing? Is advocacy really what we should be doing as an association? Are we in our lane? And I will tell you, yes. That answer is yes. We are the doers. We take care of those communities that we live, work, and play in. And the way that we do that is we create relationships with those decision makers so that we can be that good, reasonable soundboard for them. They make tough decisions in tough times because they too are trying to take care of people. And sometimes that pendulum can swing really hard. So we become that voice of reason, but we become that voice of real estate. And advocacy is our lane. We are grassroots on steroids when we have the ability to put a realtor in every single community that has those relationships with their mayor, city council, county commissioners, all the way up to our governors, all the way up to our members of Congress, and more importantly, those policymakers in DC behind the scenes. Yes, advocacy is important. And we have some big rocks that are coming ahead of us. Right now, the 1031 exchange is under attack. We know at our core, what does the movement of money mean? And that is the vehicle by which it happens, and that's the vehicle that keeps this economy churning. We will be at that table as we are now, and I'm so proud of our leadership team for taking that head on. We, last March, were the ones that ran into those rooms at every level of government and said, okay, we need to have a conversation with all of those decision makers on would we be deemed essential services. Thank goodness for what we have been doing all of these years with those RPAC funds and with our time and effort and our relationships to build the camaraderie that we needed to be able to answer those phones and make those calls. We did that. And we were able to make sure that our members across the country were able to work. That was important because we had to continue to take care of the people that we serve every single day. And we did that. We did that when we went into those rooms and we said, forbearance is a dangerous, slippery slope. And we're still having those conversations, but we have to be able to help those consumers. That's what we do. Private property rights, the list goes on. Advocacy is so important to who we are because it literally helps us to build our communities. Inclusion. Inclusion has been such an amazing journey in these last several months because we have found that we could do better. We found that while sometimes we were thinking we were being helpful, instead we were being hurtful, not just to our clients, but sometimes to each other. We get to change that now because when we know better, we do better. I'm very excited for the idea of inclusion because inclusion is very broad spread. The idea that every stakeholder not only has a voice, not only is at the table, we're going to get an opportunity to build that new table moving forward. It takes all of us. The idea that we get to tap talent, and it does start at home and it does start with us. We get to tap talent to make sure that our memberships are reflective of the communities that we live, work, and play in. We then get to, as leaders, tap talent again to make sure that the exact right person is in every single exact right role. If I have learned the most amazing thing this last year, I have talked with you, I have listened with you, and I have heard you share with me the passions that you all have. And it takes every single one of us to bring all of those passions, all of those expertise together to really affect change. And we're doing it. And it's so exciting. So we have the opportunity in our leadership teams and in our committees to be reflective of our members. We have an opportunity to ignite others, to tap talent, to inspire and to include and to bring people to the table and to build that new table. We have the opportunity to draw upon others, to really bring out what makes you all tick, because what makes you tick is what comes together to make all of this so much better for everyone that, again, that we represent. And lastly, it's about our members. Our members are in an amazingly crazy world right now. They're selling a lot of real estate, and then there are some who aren't able to sell any. Our inventory crisis is at its pivotal point. We have to make sure and help our members understand and know what is their value so that they can make sure to take care of that consumer, that the consumer will always understand and know that they need to work with a realtor. How can we preserve and maintain the realtor's role in that transaction, that complicated transaction? And it's up to us as an industry to be able to help our members tell that good story. We're being attacked from all sides. What is our value? I will also say that as an association at NAR, that is up to us to also be able to depict and know and understand and share our value as an association to our members. How are we going to help them be more successful? How are we going to address these issues that they're facing right now? How will we maintain an opportunity for us to be at that table in those transactions, and not just in the transaction, but to be that real estate professional before and after? We are realtors. We are the doers. Truly, what we do every day is so special. So yes, we're in the people business, but truly, we are in the business of helping people. So with that, I would love to be able to bring to the stage my CEO from the Idaho Realtors, David Hensley, and my campaign manager, my friend, Miss Brooke Hunt. Yeah. And a hug. I finally get to hug you. Thank you. All right.
This has been a fantastic morning. Thank you all for being here with us, for taking time out of your busy day to enjoy this breakfast with us.
We hope you learned more about Tracy and why we support her. We invite you to join Tracy on May 7th for the NAR Candidate Forum at 2 p.m. Central Time.
So this morning has been amazing. Thank you for joining us today, but we're not done. There's still a lot of work to be done. I am still going to continue to reach out to you. I still want to visit with you. If you have a chance and you have questions, please feel free to go to my website or go to the Facebook pages or any of our social media. We have a lot, right? or you are always, always welcome to call me. I want you to know that I love you. I so appreciate you. And today, I am asking for your support, and more importantly, for your vote. So please, at the Board of Directors meeting on May 14th, please help me to make sure that we can bring this team together and really make a difference for our National Association of Realtors as we move forward. I love you. Have an awesome day. Hello, my name is Tracy Kasper, and this is my husband, Mike. And we are so excited to be here today to be able to announce my candidacy for the 2022 First Vice President of the National Association of Realtors.
My name is Eric Sane, and I'm the 2019 President of Florida Realtors. And I want to talk to you briefly today about why I and Florida Realtors are supporting Tracy Kasper for 2022 NAR First Vice President. And that's because we know that Tracy embodies tomorrow's leader today.
I'm Governor Brad Little. It is my honor to come before you and announce my strong support for Tracy Kasper in her bid for the 2022 First Vice President of the National Association of Realtors.
I think Tracy is the epitome of positive change for our industry, which we so much need. Not only do I support Tracy, but I hope you will too.
And I'm so excited to support and endorse Tracy Kasper for NAR First Vice President 2022.
Tracy is an ideal candidate, well suited to represent the interests of all realtor members of our National Association of Realtors.
So join me in voting for Tracy Kasper for 2022 NAR First Vice President.
My name is Tracy Kasper, and I'm a candidate for the First Vice President of the National Association of Realtors for 2022.